All right, we are back on this beautiful. It was a Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Back on this beautiful Sunday. We had a fun day yesterday. We won't talk about that. What are we going to talk about today? What is the topic for today?
Today's topic is the importance of that we both believe about moving away.
Elaborate. Give us a little bit more of elaboration.
So
So you're hearing a lot of noise probably from the
sorry,
background.
I'm a bit distracted right now.
Akila's upstairs working out or doing something crazy up there.
Okay, so basically what I mean by that is I think one of the things
Wait, hold on.
What?
Roll the intro.
Oh.
Come on, roll the intro. The best part of recording this is seeing her do
One
the
time-
intro.
I'm gonna make you do it.
Yeah, one time, but not right now.
Maybe
Anyways,
next time.
okay. Today's topic: the importance of essentially moving away, and how that shaped both of us.
Yeah, I think how we believe that that's important.
Important.
And we've both been lucky enough to experience that. But that's, I think, a value that we both shared and like believed in, even like when we were dating and when we were talking and stuff. So I think just how we think that's important.
So why do you think it's important? Let's just dive right in.
Okay, so I think it's important because I think you need to get out of your comfort zone, which you always preach all the time.
Really? Okay. Keep going.
I think it forces you to grow in a way that you've never grown before.
Mhm.
Like you're comfortable at home with your family, with
Yeah.
a familiar setting, with people around you. Like it's just you're content and you're comfortable. But I think in order to get that extra push and to grow in all aspects of your life as a person, to figure out what you like, what you don't like, get lost one day, like it's just being placed in a different environment and different circumstances. I think that's so important to just growth.
I feel like it gives you a sense of self.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Was that the right way to coin that or term that?
Yeah, that's
You know what I'm
very
saying?
deep.
It's like you
Yeah.
basically go on like these journeys, and you get to experience things with no parents. And not that that's a bad thing to have parents around and family and all that kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
it's just like when you're not being like sheltered and protected
Yeah.
by your family 24/7,
Yeah.
it's really going to allow you to grow. It's really going to allow you to see and do things just in a different light.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your first experience then.
Of
What
moving away.
what was your first experience? Was it going to Australia? That was the first time you kind of cut the cord and was like, okay, I'm out.
So obviously, like I think there's been like little mini like trips
Yeah.
leading up to it, right? Like Australia was my first like, here you go, move to the other side of the world. Like didn't know anybody, didn't know the place at all, but that was very extreme. But I think leading up to it, there were like little trips, right? Like you go on a trip by yourself. Like I went 1 year by myself to New York to visit one of my best friends. Like I was
Okay.
there with her for a week. So like that was like a whole new experience.
Yep.
Like away from family in a new city. I think travel's a huge part of it, but not travel like with family, just travel either by yourself or travel, to explore and
Yeah.
see your friends or something. But Australia was the first big, like, whoa, like moving away
When you
from
really
home.
stepped out. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a whole new thing. Like I said, like I had no idea what Perth, Australia was like. I'd never been to the country anyways, like any time ever.
Yeah.
And I got into this program and I was like, I'm going to take the move and I'm going to do it. So obviously like really blessed to have that chance to be able to do that because not many people get that chance. But it was a whole new world, literally. Like it's called Down Under for a reason because you're
It's
literally
literally on the other side of the world, like a
Yeah.
15-hour flight, maybe more 18 with the layover.
More. It's funny because our family friends joke all the time and make fun of my parents that like your daughter couldn't have picked the most polar
Seriously,
opposite
the literally opposite
place. Like if you
place
look
of
at
the
a
world.
globe and you look at Edmonton and then you look at Perth, it's literally you put a hole
Opposite.
through the globe and it's like the
That's crazy.
exact opposite.
So if you
area
hadn't
in
gone
the
to
world.
Australia, what were the other options?
I think for sure I would have wanted to move away for
Okay.
a bit and for school. I think
Where
one
else
of
did you get
the-
into?
where else did I get into?
Yeah.
Other programs in Australia, in Europe,
Okay.
and also in the States.
Oh, Europe.
Yeah. But
Oh,
Aus-
States. Oh,
yeah,
big time
but
over here.
the reason
If you guys don't know, I'm gonna cut her off. Right, she's like a big brain, so she's really smart.
Okay. But I think the reason that I wanted to do that was, and like really fueled me and pushed me to do it more was my brother. like my younger brother. So he moved
How
away.
fitting that he's upstairs on a bike and
I
not in
know.
this episode right now. But anyways,
You
go
can
ahead.
probably hear him splitting the bike up.
Yeah, seriously.
But like he moved away from home right after high school.
Right.
He was 17, so like he was
Yeah.
really young, and he's lived on his own in the States now. Since then, he's never actually moved back home, and he's now 26, so it's been almost 10 years.
Right.
But like seeing him in the first year or two of him being there, even though he was pretty young, just like the amount that he had grown, and each time he would come back for Christmas or for the summer, like
Yeah, it's changing.
the way he would talk, the way he would just like present himself, like the stuff that he would know about the world or about himself. And like, I mean, his kitchen skills were lacking at the time, but now they're pretty good. They're
excellent,
pretty
yeah.
crazy. But you know what I mean? Like just like seeing all that, it's like, wow, like you wouldn't have learned that or done it if you were here.
Yeah.
And like, to be honest, like I wasn't ready for that when I finished high school. Like I think I wanted to stay home for a bit and like get my life a little sorted out first.
Right.
But going to Australia, and when I did, it was like that first big step. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do this. I'm literally totally out of my comfort zone. Like I said, I didn't know a single person there, was not familiar with the place, wasn't even familiar with the language. It's English, but it's not English.
Yeah, it's
Like,
definitely
it's very
different slang and
different.
stuff. Yeah.
But I think it's so important to put yourself out there like that. So it's like I learned in every single aspect, like my career, like my personal life, making friends, like learning the city. Like,
Right.
it's just a lot.
A lot of things happen for you. I think it's like
Yeah.
similar. It was like there's like those mini breakthroughs when you're younger.
Yeah.
Like you go on a trip, even going on a trip with friends. Like when I go with Dino and Sunny, those guys, like the throwback trips. Like
Yeah.
you're by yourself
Yeah.
in a different country, like
Yeah.
just with the boys. Like you just gotta do things. You gotta eat. You gotta know how to
Yeah.
travel, navigate, talk to people in different language. Like,
Yep.
and this just goes back to the point I'm trying to make is like just traveling and just experiencing other cultures
Yeah. Oh, for
in
sure.
general.
Yeah.
To me, that's like so important because if you just stay, and we're just using Edmonton as an example. There's tons of
Yeah.
other cities and different places, and we love Edmonton. There's nothing bad about it.
Yeah.
It's just like the longer you stay in one place, no matter where you are in the world, you can't expose yourself to other things.
Oh, for sure.
So many good things are out there. Imagine when you first traveled, right?
Yeah.
When you're older, not when you're younger, because you guys
Yeah.
have been traveling all over the place. But
Yeah.
that first time you had like a really dope meal,
Mhm.
or you just met someone cool that you were traveling with. You know, there's all these like experiences that you're not
yeah.
giving yourself the opportunity to do
Yeah.
because you're stuck at home for whatever reason, whether it's
I think it just
mental
also
or-
shows like the appreciation of the world. Like
Mhm.
there's so much more that the
Yep.
world has to offer than what we're living in at home here.
Yeah, I agree.
And seeing things from other perspectives, I think that's so important. That's one thing, like
Yeah,
when I was in school here and in Australia, like I came across a lot of people who weren't able to travel or haven't been outside
yeah,
of even like the city. And just the way they think and the way they talk, it's very different to someone who has had that chance to travel and get those experiences.
yeah,
And I also think like it really helps like decision making as well. Like obviously like you're saying, like when you're traveling with your friends, like you gotta
Yeah.
be like, okay, how am I, this is extreme, like, you know, gonna stay alive, like
no, but still, there's
not
things
make
to
the wrong
do. Yeah,
turn, like, or
Yeah.
wear a helmet if I'm on a motorcycle. Like it's just like little things like that. Like you just think in different ways. And like you said, the culture, there's
Yeah, I
so much
think
culture out
yeah.
there.
The biggest thing is like I always want to be a cultured individual,
Yeah.
and like a lot of people aren't.
Yep.
And I feel like when you're cultured, like you said, you're open minded. You're open to like foods, religions, different places in the world, and all kind of craziness like happens
Yeah.
out there,
Yeah.
and that allows you to grow.
Yep.
Because you're not, like you said, you're not just not sheltered. You're just open to do it.
Yep.
But anyways, going back to the original point, okay, because I want to say this.
Okay.
Not all parents are like open
Yeah. Oh,
to
100%.
their children or their kids being like, okay, I'm out. I'm going to Australia. I'm going to how he went to Buffalo, New York, and all
Yeah.
these places. Like
Yeah.
that's not an everyday occurrence, and that's not a normal thing in
Yeah.
today's society, even though we're advancing.
Yeah.
I think in our generation, like when we're parents and some of the other like Indian like families couples that we know
Yeah.
our age, I think that's going to be more lenient because like they will understand it.
Yeah.
So I think that wave is coming
Yeah.
where a lot more are going to be going abroad and doing that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
for us,
I think it comes to like if they've like I'm taking it always like I always take it a step back, right? Like what have they experienced which they
Yeah.
can understand.
Yep.
So like to be honest, and like I know my mom's different, she's very open minded, but like she came from India and then lived here. My dad lived in Sweden for almost 10 years
Yeah.
and he's been all over the world and then came here. So he like had that appreciation and like they were both together like it's okay for us to leave the nest and go out and come back, and if we don't come back, all good. If we come back, great. But like you said, like I don't think a lot of the parents are like that because maybe they didn't have that experience themselves. But
That is true.
even if they have, maybe they've seen the other side of it and they're like, no,
Yeah, that is
we're
true.
not sending you away.
Obviously, like the way you grew up and like everything, your surroundings like are gonna mold you into the person you're gonna become.
Yeah.
So it's definitely different for that generation. Like our
Yeah.
parents, it's like coming from India or coming from wherever. It's just like that's a
Yeah.
whole different culture that we can't speak on because we didn't live it,
Yeah.
and we just know that we're lucky and we're blessed to live in this century
Yeah.
where it's like everything is open for conversation or play and just those things. Where it's like in the past, that's not really a thing,
Yeah.
you know. And plus, technology. There's so much that we can talk about that has advanced from their
Yeah.
time to ours,
Oh,
which
for
make
sure.
it possible for us to
Yeah.
just do these things. Even like traveling, like how easy it is to travel right now.
Yeah.
We could tomorrow book a flight and go to Australia.
Right.
Oh, if there's no COVID.
The opportunities are there.
Yeah, the opportunities are there.
Yeah.
So it's like bringing this conversation back
Mm-hmm.
to our family one day and what we're gonna have and what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Like obviously this is a silly question to even ask,
Yeah.
but like when that comes up,
Yeah.
what's your response gonna be? Like, hey,
Oh,
I got
go
all
for
these
it.
opportunities to
So
do
I,
this and
I
that.
think there's a difference from like all the kudos to the people who are like this in the world where it's like I need to take a year off and go find myself and they just go travel and just do whatever they want, but I feel like there's no end goal to it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna go for the sake of going,
Just to like try and figure
just to
something out.
hang
type
out
thing.
and have
Yeah.
fun and like, which is fine and
Yeah.
great, but like there comes a point where it's like, okay, like what do you want to get out of this?
Yeah.
So I feel like for our future family, like if our kids one day want to be like, I want to go to school or somewhere else, or I want to experience this in a different country, or I want to, you know, even just move and get it. If it's an opportunity, like I would never stop them. Go
Yeah.
for it.
I think one cool opportunity that I never got to take advantage of
Yeah.
because my parents were very protective growing up, and I think you guys did. I know Akil mentioned recently he went to some crazy trip, for tennis or something like that when he was younger
Out to Korea.
to Korea. So it's
Yeah.
like I had a lot of those opportunities come up when we
Yeah.
were younger, whether it be soccer or just school trips.
Yeah.
Never took advantage of them because my parents were always basically just like no.
Mm,
And I always
okay.
wonder like, not that that was a bad thing at that time
Yeah.
or like that would have changed my life, but like I always wonder like, okay, what if I had gone on that grade 9 Spain trip
Yeah.
or that grade 12 Greece trip?
Yeah.
So many people went on like, oh, this is so amazing. Like,
yeah.
what would that have changed in me? Like, would I not
Yeah.
be here right now? Would I be speaking a different language? Like, who knows, right? Because like
Yeah.
those things impact you. And I think for us, we're on the same page where we want to give our kids the most opportunities
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
that we can provide to them and make possible to them.
Yeah.
Got to be smart, has to make sense.
Yeah.
But we want to open the world of opportunity for them, open those doors for them
Yeah.
by letting them speak Hindi, speak Punjabi, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Maybe learn French and Spanish, like be by something that I've always wanted to be, but never have, maybe never will, but eventually I will learn more
I'm
Hindi.
trying real hard.
But you know what I mean? I always missed out. So in grade 7, like, this is so random. This is coming to me right now.
Oh no.
In grade 7, like the principal of KHI, like Miss Bati or something like that. It just came to my mind. She was like, take Spanish.
Okay.
She like brought me into her office because I was
Yeah.
like I was playing multi-sports. Like people like knew me in the school,
Yeah.
brought me in. Like she looked at my course load.
Mhm.
This is when I was like just in my brisk of like honors. Like this is my last good year of honors. So I was like at an all-time high, everybody. Okay. Like,
First and last.
yeah,
year.
first and last time of me having honors. Anyways, brings me in, just like looks at my course load. Just like she told me straight, I could remember, like, why aren't you taking another language?
Oh,
Like,
wow.
why aren't you taking Spanish? Like,
Yeah.
man, this is so crazy. I remember this, but I don't know the exact words, but she said like we're growing up in like a different world. Like,
yeah.
take another language, like open yourself up to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just like I didn't do it. I think maybe I've asked my parents something like that, but like I'm not saying that's their fault. But
Yeah.
I decided not to do it,
Right.
and that was always like one of my biggest regrets. Is like
To not do it.
because had I learned Spanish at that time, let's say 7 to 9, I wouldn't have been like fluent, but I
You
would have been like
absorbed a lot more.
absorbed a lot,
Yeah.
and then it would have made it easier for me to learn Mandarin.
Oh, for
And
sure.
then it would have made it easier for me to start learning Hindi now. So it's like a trickle down
Yeah.
effect that I didn't take advantage of,
Yeah.
which
I
is
mean,
part
it's
of
never
life.
too late, and you have learned Mandarin.
I have learned Mandarin,
You
and
have
that was
learned-
like actually
That's
really fun.
hard.
It's like the hardest language in the
Yeah.
world to learn,
Yeah.
and I am gonna be learning Hindi soon.
Yeah.
It's
we're
on record.
we're
Like
trying really hard
I've
every day.
picked up a lot more words.
Oh, you have. Yeah.
And even though I'm not speaking it,
Yeah.
I understand way more than I ever have,
You do.
just
yeah.
because I'm around you guys like all the time and that stuff. So, but anyways, going back to like the whole main point, like
Yeah.
I think it is really important. I think like a lot of people miss the fact they miss the importance. And I think it comes down to your experience.
Yeah.
So knock on wood, like
Yeah.
me and you are lucky. Like we've had a
Yeah.
lot of cool experiences. You travel for tennis and this and that in school, and I've went to work in LA and do all these different things, all these trips
Yeah.
with my friends. Like
Yeah.
not everyone gets those opportunities. I
Yeah.
think like, we have some friends right now that haven't traveled as much as us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I bet if we were to have the conversation with them right now, this
Be a
same
different-
conversation,
Yeah.
they would probably be on the other side of the fence than us.
Yeah.
In terms of like, nah, I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
what's wrong with being here and living in Edmonton and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
it's like,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah, I think one thing that I've seen also, whether it's from family, friends, or just family in general over the years about moving away is, this is completely biased also,
Yeah.
but this is just like what I've seen and what I believe this is like when you move away and when you know what you want in life, like this is going to get a little deep, but like you attract like that same energy and vibrations. And it's like little like, but it's like a puzzle piece. It's like puzzle pieces fitting together.
It is.
And I feel like every aspect of your life finally comes together. Like you were moving away, like you lived in LA, I lived in Australia. We found each other through finding ourselves first. And it's just
Totally
like,
agree.
but it's like every aspect fits. Like now we know what we want in our career or in a family or in a partner or just in general, where we even want to live. Like I wouldn't have had the appreciation for Edmonton if I hadn't moved away. Like
Totally agree. And I do want
Right?
to say that.
so
I
like
love this
Right?
city. I
So-
absolutely love this city, everything in it, everyone in it,
yeah,
because
because we moved away.
we moved away
yeah.
and you get to see not like what you've missed, but just like you said, the appreciation
You
of
just
like this
appreciate it,
city,
yeah.
like
So,
in
like-
Canada, like
So I know it's different, obviously, because you were in the States, which is completely different
yeah,
than what it is here. But I know, like, for myself, like, because we were both born and raised here
yes,
in Edmonton. And I just know, like,
Millwoods.
yeah. So I just know, like, I think when I got to that point, like, after high school and after when I graduated from the U of A, I got really, really tired of living here because it was just the same routine for me. It was like, it was like
Yes.
I'd go home, I'd go to the Savile to go play tennis, I'd go to university, and I'd come home. It was like the 3 places every single day for like years and years. And I was like, I'm just over, like, there's more in the world that I want to see and learn. I don't like Edmonton. I like really hated on Edmonton for a long time. But then I moved to Australia and I was like, wait, Edmonton's not so bad. Like, it's cool having family around and it's cool having your
Exactly.
friends around and it's cool having healthcare and like,
That
it's
is a very
cool
nice thing, yeah.
having like living not in like such a huge city where it's gonna take me hours and hours, like in
Like
LA.
LA,
Yeah,
crazy
to
traffic.
get from one place to another. I can
Yeah.
get to the other side of the city in 30 minutes. Like,
I totally agree.
but some people like don't like it and some people do. But like I really appreciated like everything here and everything that we went through. But that's only because you see it from a further lens. Like you're outside, you're put outside of it. So
I totally agree.
yeah. What was
You're so well spoken. I love it.
Wow.
And I want to say
nice.
something real quick, like before you ask me your question, don't forget it. Because if it was me, I would have forgot already. People always call this Deadmonton.
Yeah.
And they always call it Deadmonton. And I
Yeah.
never really like understood like why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like why do we call this? And as I got older, I started to understand why people call it Edmonton. And this is my explanation of why people call this Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they never leave Edmonton.
Well, they're stuck in a rut.
Yes, you're
Like you're.
yes, exactly. So this goes back to the whole like career thing and figuring your life out and going along your journey.
Yeah.
Best thing that ever happened to me my entire life, like, was
Yeah.
like meeting Dev
Yeah.
and having the opportunity to just F it
Yeah.
and move to LA.
Yeah.
In the 4 or 5 years I was in there, I don't even know how long I was in there.
Yeah.
I grew so much
Yeah.
as an individual, as an entrepreneur, as a man, like everything.
Yeah.
I grew so much because I was out there alone, no family,
Yeah.
you know, Dev and those guys, a couple friends, brothers now, whatever you want to call it. But there's nothing.
Yeah.
And we're out there on our own, like trying to build this brand and do all these kind of things with no
Yeah.
backing. No, never had healthcare.
Yeah.
Out there, knock on wood, like I
Yeah,
did get
that
sick a
was
couple
rough
times,
for
had to
you.
like do some
Yeah.
crazy things and get medicine and whatnot. But it's like
Yeah.
I was out there, like experiencing life. And the biggest thing, going back to the original point, is just like I put myself out there
Yep.
to step away from Edmonton.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I was never in a rut, but I was so over the city
Yeah.
in terms of like the energy and the vibes. I just felt like things don't change here.
Yeah.
Things aren't culturally moving here in the way that I want to see it. And that's like a big part of me, like also like moving back to like be with you is like I want to like be a change maker to like change those things. Like
yeah.
the thing I may do with Grant McEwen and like some other things. Like
Yeah.
I want to be part of the change for the next generation of people coming up. So it's like, it's not the same that we experience. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's more open and it's more inviting. And it's just so much more stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, it all comes back to being in Edmonton. Like, I love this city.
Yeah.
Did a lot of dope stuff here, just like you.
Oh, for
You
sure.
had a lot
yeah.
of great experience here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I had stayed here, bro, if I had stayed here, like the whole time, we for sure would have
Yeah.
never met.
Oh, no.
We for sure would have never met.
No.
God knows like where our lives would have been. Your life would have been absolutely awful.
I probably
without me.
I was gonna say I probably would have still lived in Australia, to be honest.
So
with you.
her life would have been absolutely awful without me.
Okay.
Like, it was what I'm trying to basically say. So you're lucky that I was
What
put
about
into
your
your
life?
life. Yeah, who cares? I was just saying, your life would have been
Look at
absolutely
that.
awful.
Trying to just downplay it. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, but it's fine.
But yeah, I don't know. I could feel like I could keep talking about this, which is like, it's the same point that we hit on the head every single time. Just like, basically just do it. Like, if you
Yeah.
have the opportunity, you have friends.
Yeah.
I have friends that have had opportunities to do things.
Yeah.
What we both think are cool things or cool opportunities, and they didn't do them.
Yeah.
And I always like will look back on those opportunities 5, 10, 15 years from now and see like how that impacted that individual.
Yeah.
It's not going to be negative,
Yeah.
but who knows what could have happened. It's, for me, it's always like that. Who knows
Yeah. You never. But the thing is, you never know unless you do it.
unless you do it. So it's always like the
Right, like-
anomaly, like the unknown of like, man, like what could have been. Like,
Yeah.
hindsight's 2020.
I think that's the thing is like we never want to live without any what ifs. It's like
I don't want to live
just
with
do
any
it.
regrets.
Just apply. If you don't get in, you don't get in.
Yeah.
Just take the move. If you don't like it in the city, you can come back home.
Yeah.
You're not stuck there. Like we're in a different time. You can move
Mhm.
back home if you want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's always other options, but you have to take that first step. And not everybody wants to. People are content. People are. That's why I said people are
That's the
people
other
are-
thing, bro.
complacent and people are content with just stay. But that's fine. Like you always say when we talk about this, you always say those are the kind of people that make the world go round. That's what you say. And those kind of people are, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So look,
It's whatever makes
yeah.
you happy. But it's like for
Yeah.
us, it's like we need that. We needed to see what else was out there.
yeah, I think to each their own.
Yeah.
In society and in life, there's different types of people.
Yeah.
And there's a reason there's different types of people. It's so the world can go around.
Yeah.
There's millions of different types of jobs,
Yeah.
and all those types of jobs need to be filled by different people. You know, like
Yeah.
different educations, different lifestyles, different cultures, religion, blah blah blah, different experience.
Yeah.
But as you like kind of go up the ladder, then you start to like play with like the hustlers and like
Mhm.
the entrepreneurs, like the people who like wake up every day like us and don't want to settle to be like just everyone else. You want
Yeah.
to achieve more. You want to
Just-
do more for yourself,
you
your
just
family.
want more.
You want more.
You just want to do more and you
Yeah.
want to grow and you want to just see you. The potential's endless for everybody. It's just whoever wants to take it
It's just realized versus unrealized.
or realize and don't want to take it.
Yeah, and don't
It's
want to take it.
just-
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Everyone's different, but that's the thing that what it comes down to is like that value that we believe in is similar for us,
Yeah.
which I think is why we are here today. One of the reasons why we're here today is because we both share that belief that it's really important, and we hopefully our kids will, leave the nest and
They're gonna get some dope opportunities. I already know
Yeah.
that because we're not gonna wood. Like we're gonna help
Yeah.
create some cool opportunities for them. Plus, in X amount of years, 15, 20, when it's college time or whatever,
yeah,
the world's gonna be like such a more advanced and different place.
very
Like
different.
who
yeah.
knows what things will be possible
Yeah.
for them to do, which is I'm excited about.
Mhm.
But let's end it with this. With everything we just talked about in terms of going abroad and the positives and the benefits we talked about of like
Yeah.
basically just not staying in the same place your whole life.
Yeah.
And going to experience different cultures, cities, foods, experience all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What's the most important thing for you?
Yeah.
Like the takeaway.
To do that,
No, in doing that.
stay
Like the number one
open-minded.
thing.
You have to stay open-minded. You can't go in with any expectations. I think there's always, I wanted to touch on this quickly, but I think there's always a fear. There's always a big fear.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
good point.
what if I go and it's too hard? Or what if I go and it's too scary, or I'm lonely, or if it doesn't work out, or if I don't get that job opportunity, or it doesn't work out for me, or I break up with that person there. Like, but you don't know, like there's that constant fear, but if you let that fear overcome
Yeah.
taking that step, you're not gonna get anywhere. Like just get over that fear. It's the same thing as like a what if. That's why I think the main thing is you have to stay open-minded. Like you can't let that fear take over.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna
That's a
lie,
good
like
point.
you've heard my stories when I first moved to Australia. I hated it there.
Yeah, of course.
In my first year there, I wanted to come back home, but then by the time it was my second year there, I wanted to live there. I wanted to move
Yeah, you
there, and I
loved it.
didn't want to come back home. And then I met you, and anyways, it's a different story. But like, but I think just staying open minded and not having any expectations when you go, and just being like open to new experiences, new people, a different way of
Yes.
life.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're not going to thrive there. What about you?
It's really
What's your
well said.
take home message?
I don't know. I think my take home message is F it.
Well,
No, literally, like just F it. Like just do
yeah,
it. Like
just do
the
it.
Nike thing. Just do it. It's the same
Yeah.
thing she's saying, like open mindedness, but just
Yeah.
like there's an opportunity for you and you're like on the fence, like just pull the trigger and try it.
Yeah.
Because who knows where that will take you.
Yeah.
And obviously if it's a calculated decision, you kind of like understand the risks of both sides.
Yeah.
Like just try it.
Yeah.
Because like staying in the same place you grew up in is cool and all, your family and friends are there, but who knows who you're gonna meet?
Yeah.
Who knows who's on the other side of the world or what experiences
Yeah.
and opportunities wait for you?
Also, just keep in mind, like we're saying, like obviously to do it, like these have to be like smart decisions. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna go to New Zealand and go, but you know what I mean. Just
No,
just,
that's
like,
why I
a very-
said smart,
yeah,
calculated decisions.
Like it should be like
yeah.
beneficial, and it should
Yeah.
Work out.
The decisions you
Just
make in
smart
life, yeah.
decisions for doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The decisions you make in life should be like
Yeah.
somewhat thought out. Obviously, some are like you
Yeah.
don't, especially when you're younger. But as you get older, more mature, like the ones that you can like think about and calculate. Okay, does this
Yeah.
make sense? Who does this impact?
Yeah.
Is it going to help me long term grow as a person? Like that's
Yeah.
kind of what we're talking about. Like, yeah, we're
Yeah.
not saying like go bungee jump off a cliff or whatever. It's just like
yeah, or
no.
even just like if you want, like it's just I think there's a time and place for everything.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, as we get older, like just say yes, just do it, just go to that different country, just go meet that other person, just make that new friend and the other. You know what I mean? Just do it.
just
like you
see.
said,
I'm
yeah.
gonna say something real quick because it's like the Yes Theory guys.
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah.
super like famous YouTube channel. Like their whole premise is just like if you get asked something,
Mm-hmm.
you have to say yes.
Yeah.
That's it. That's just the whole premise of everything.
Yeah.
So their whole thing is to seek discomfort. Just like you said
Yeah.
at the beginning, like seek discomfort, put yourself in uncomfortable situations so that you can grow as an individual.
Yep.
That's all it comes down to.
That's it.
Say no more, fam.
That's it.
We out.
We out.